reserves in the world. Why has the country failed to see any benefits from that oil well?
Well, I mean, it's absolutely scandalous. As you mentioned, the country is one of the richest, one of the wealthiest, but that wealth hasn't trickled down to the normal, ordinary people, because the so-called leaders, who were leaders since the days of the Iraqi opposition, and they have inherited those positions, and they don't actually deserve it at all. And I do believe that when your guest, Mr. Kamba, talks about elected and unelected, we have a different system in the United States. This comparison doesn't have a leg to stand on, because the leader in America, he is actually the elected person, and the buck stops with him. He is responsible for the failures of other ministers. In Iraq, nobody's held accountable because of the partnership government or the national unity government. Those ministers are appointed by their own blocks. The Prime Minister doesn't have a say in the running or being able to sack them when he wants to, because we'll have, as we have done so far, the political blocs simply undermining him by pulling those ministers and adamantly refusing to change them, even if they actually hold at bay all the works of the government at the peril or to the detrimental impact to the Iraqi people. They really have demonstrated clearly, with ample time, with ample evidence, that they don't have a care in the world. Their jobs are there simply to get to the highest position of authority, and when they get there, they simply spend time lining up their pockets, lining up their families' pockets.
Okay, Mr. Alisa, well, what about Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki? Mr. Alisa, what about Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki then in his State of Law coalition? Have they failed to guarantee the proper economic and political security in order to ensure any kind of progress and development in the country?
Of course, they have a share in the. They have a share in the blame. They are responsible. They should be also accountable. But let me tell you, because that impotent system, ineffective system of the national unity government and a parliament where we have a leader who is ahead of our bloc, which is steadfastly determined, have shown his unflinching commitment to severely undermine the government and to throw spanners of the work. That's why the State of the Law and Maliki has been able to come and say, look, I haven't been able to function properly. I have people in the parliament, and shamefully again, some of the blocs, part and parcel of the National Alliance, condoning and colluding with the Nujafi, even though he was very, very open about it, going to Qatar, traveling and meeting Al Jazeera and saying openly, defying the Iraqi people, that, you know, the main component in Iraq are not the Shias, and starting off, instigating, stirring up sectarian divisions between the Iraqi people. And still he's got the guts and the nerve in a meeting before the elections to say, I want you all to go out to prove to the rest of the world that, you know, the Shias are the minority in Iraq and the Sunnis are a majority. Purely sectarian rhetoric. And he has been capable of doing that because he's backed up in the parliament by two main blocs of the National Alliance in order to forge a coalition. And we've seen some of the as we say, we've seen that.
Okay, Mr. Alisa, I want to stop you there for a moment because I want to get Mr. Kambar's thoughts on some of this.
A coalition in Diyala.
Okay, Mr. Kambar, you heard there that a few comments made there about sectarian electoral campaigning, but let's be honest, most of the campaigning was sectarian. Does that mean that the majority of the voters cast their ballots based on ethnic and sectarian loyalties rather than real issues?